want to talk to you today about fatty liver. If you haven't been diagnosed with it, maybe you haven't heard about it. Last week we talked about adult onset diabetes versus type 2 diabetes. So in other words, this was a disease whose name had to change because so many children were getting adult onset diabetes that they changed it to type 2. Today we're talking about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Why did they have to name that in 1983? Because prior to that, when you saw a fatty liver, when you saw liver disease, someone was an alcoholic. It was pretty plain and simple that was, other than rare circumstances, it was somebody who abused alcohol who then developed fat infiltration into their organ, then scarring on the organ, and then finally the organ stopped working and they needed a liver transplant or they expired. So in 1983, we had to name non-alcoholic fatty liver disease because so many people were finding that their liver enzymes were very elevated. And quick little health hack, go to your most recent blood test that you had from your doctor and look at your liver enzymes, and they should be in the teens. So that is the optimum reference range. It's not the reference range, sorry, the reference range is much broader. I think it goes up to 40. But for truly healthy liver function, you want all those enzymes to be in the teens. So you can look at that on your blood test and see how you're doing. Because it's not really until they're way out of range that you're told you have fatty liver. So what are the causes of fatty liver? Unfortunately, all the things that are killing us from degenerative disease, meaning fatty liver is the harbinger of all the diseases we're trying to avoid. So obesity, over 90% of people with fatty liver have obesity. Type 2 diabetes, 60% of the people with fatty liver have diabetes and have type 2 diabetes. And also associated with that is a poor diet, a diet high in sugar, high fructose corn syrup, a lot of pre-processed, pre-packaged foods. People with fatty liver have high triglycerides. That is also seen in type 2. They have low what's called HDL, so that's the good cholesterol, as you often hear it termed, because HDL are these nice big fluffy particles that take the bad cholesterol, the LDLs, and pull it out of your body, which is what you want. You don't want that fat infiltration happening. So what's interesting, of course, about this is that the diseases we want to avoid, type 2 diabetes, we want to avoid cancer, we want to avoid cognitive decline like Alzheimer's, we want to avoid obesity. All of these diseases at their core have these common threads. And I always say that to patients, you know, the exciting thing is that you don't have to do different things for different diseases, generally speaking. So when it comes to diet and lifestyle and the need for exercise and real food, what's good for one is good for all the rest, which is great news, right? You don't have to do 5 different things. It's like, oh, we really want to prevent cancer more than we want to avoid diabetes or obesity. It's not like that. All the diet and lifestyle habits that are good for one are good for the other. Worldwide, mostly industrialized nations, of course, because of the poor diet and the sedentary lifestyle, 25% of the world's population has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Yet here in the US, of course, we're so much better, meaning worse. 30 to 40% of our adult population has fatty liver disease. So this is a terrible statistic, and it's really, what's exciting about it is it's something you can do something about. I've always told patients also that if you were going to pick an organ that to kind of abuse that could take it, it would be your liver, up to a certain point, of course. But the liver is a very tough organ. It's very robust. It's the only organ that you can literally cut a piece off of and it will regrow, literally. It's the only one that does that in our body. So the basics of real food, exercise, you know, when the papers I was reading, it's like, okay, lose weight. A lot of people try to lose weight and they can't because they don't know the right approach and the right real food. They're just going to go to the diet colas and, oh, let me just do diet everything. And now, of course, we're learning saccharin's actually increasing your risk of type 2 diabetes, and aspartame and Diet Coke is about to be declared a known carcinogen. So these diet foods are not diet. They're not helping you in your diet at all. You want real food. You want real fruits, real vegetables, olive oil, nuts and seeds. Look up what a Mediterranean diet is, minus the alcohol. It's a brilliant way to start. And then you have to get active. So it's not a hard problem to solve, but it is a problem we really need to solve because it's pretty insidious. Fatty liver doesn't give a lot of symptoms. You can have malaise, meaning you're tired. You can have a little bit of a heavy feeling in your right upper quadrant of your abdomen, which is where your liver is. So you feel a little heaviness there, but something, if you're not really in tune with your body, you could easily miss. So you have to do that blood test to really start seeing the elevated liver enzymes. And you don't even want to wait till they're truly high elevation. You want to catch them as soon as they get out of that teen range, as I mentioned. So I hope you found this helpful, and we'll talk soon. I hope you found this video helpful. If you want more on this topic and others, click here.